Welcome to G3, Games, Gadgets, and Guests, an audio and video podcast from 702 Communications. I'm your host, Brian Crommett. As you can tell by the computer in front of me, I've got a game episode for you today. And today we're going to be talking about a game that's not necessarily new. In fact, it's about a year and a half old now. But I hadn't heard about it until my son actually introduced it to me. So today we're going to talk about Stardew Valley. So Stardew Valley, to get right into it, it's a really interesting game. When my son was describing it to me, it sounded like a cross between Minecraft and a couple other just little RPG games. The premise really is that you are a character who inherits a farm. And you've got to go and you've got to craft a bunch of stuff. You've got to build a house. You've got to build relationships with local farmers and townsfolk. And to be really honest, when he first told me about it, I thought, well, that doesn't sound fun at all. But then, being the good dad that I try to be, I played a couple hours with him. He and I just taking turns. And as it turned out, then I wanted my own farm. So I started my own game of Stardew Valley in addition to the one that my son and I were playing. So I'm going to show you a little bit about Stardew Valley. And if you get into it like I got into it, you might well play the game over 100 hours. Just maybe. So I'm going to start a new game and take you through just the first couple days of the game. So to start up, the very first thing you have here is you can customize your farmer a little bit. You can be male or female. You've got to give yourself a name. So I'm going to be really generic here and put my name in as Brian. And we're going to call this the 702 farm. And we're going to say the favorite thing is, I don't know, video games. Then you decide if you're a cat person or a dog person. I'm a dog person. You could do a little customization up here with the hairstyle and color and all that, but I don't really care about that. And then you've got a couple different farm types you can choose from: a standard farm, a riverland farm, forest farm, hilltop farm. When you're first getting into it, you're not going to understand what any of the pros and cons of any of those might be, so you could select standard. I've got a standard farm. I've also got a riverland farm. So I'm going to pick a forest farm. And we're going to hit OK. So this is going to take you now directly into the setup. You've got your grandfather laying in bed. We're to imply here that he's not doing well. He's willing us a sealed envelope here. And he's going to go on to explain that we shouldn't open the envelope. We need to be patient. But when the weight of the world and the rat race gets us down and we're tired by the crushed by the burden of modern life, then we should open this envelope, and then we should see what his gift to us is. And you've probably already guessed it. It's a farm. So you can't click through the intro either. So I'm not just dragging it out here. Some years later, Grandpa's gone, and you are a drone at Joja, which is a great big corporation. And see, you're in the cube, closely monitored, video camera watching you work, and it looks like the crushing weight of reality has gotten the better of us. If you look over here, somebody's died at their desk. We have a little tear, and we've suddenly remembered Grandpa's envelope. So we're going to take a look. And so we recognize, or we realize by reading this, that that the same thing that's happened to us here happened to Grandpa, and so he went out and started this farm, and now that he's gone, he wants us to have that. So we are going to start our new life on the farm. And apparently we're supposed to, if Lewis is still around, we got to say hi to him too. So that's the intro. That's the setup for Stardew Valley. And so we packed up all our stuff, got on the bus, and we're headed over to Stardew Valley. And so this is you can tell just by the very first few screens that this isn't a really high quality graphics sort of game. It's very old school. It's well done, and the music is pleasant, and there's a lot of I was attracted to a lot of the old school gaming bits and pieces that go into this game. So here we go. We're getting off the bus. We're talking to our very first villager. Robin is our local carpenter. And through the course of the game, she's going to add on to our house, build farm buildings for us and stuff like that. So she's good to know. And she's going to lead us to our new farm. So right now, the farm is just a house, and that's about it. So our first reaction to seeing the farm is alarm. But she's telling us not to worry about it. We'll get it cleaned up in no time. And we're going to get a number of tools so that we can do that. And Mayor Lewis was just in our house. And so now we've met two different people from Stardew Valley. Everybody that you talk to, you're going to have a chance to interact with any given day. And they may give you, you may have different quests then that you need to fulfill. And so there's definitely an RPG aspect to the game too. You do also level up, and you do you can upgrade your weapons. You can build new stuff. So a lot of stuff going on in a game that looks really simple to start with. Just a little bit of dialogue going on between characters here. We're almost done. And Mayor Lewis has actually just given us our first quest. So our first quest is tomorrow to go into town and meet the other townsfolk. And very handy, and the crux of everything here is anything that we gather, anything we produce, anything we want to sell, we can just put it in this magic box outside the house, and the mayor will come sometime in the middle of the night, collect all our goods, and leave us money. It's handy, not creepy. So there we go. That's the intro. And now we're going to get into day one on the farm. You wake up every morning in bed, and you can go over and check your television, get a weather report. And the controls for this are exactly what you'd expect. You just saw them there on the sidebar, but you're just using your keyboard keys for navigation. Besides the weather, you can check the fortune teller every day. The fortune teller will tell you if you're going to have good luck for your random events, if you're going to have bad luck, etc. So some days are better than others, and some days you're going to, depending on what the fortune teller says, it might make a difference to what you want to take on as a task for that day. And then this one, you can also look at Living Off the Land, and that's a channel that's going to give you some hints about different things that you can do in the game. There is also one more channel that'll show up at some point, and that'll teach you recipes to start cooking stuff. So we also found a gift in the middle of the floor, and that was 15 parsnip seeds from Mayor Lewis. We have a journal here that shows us our missions. So you have 2 missions here. One's getting started, cultivate and harvest a parsnip, and then the other one is, like I say, the mayor told us yesterday to come into town and meet people. So I've met 2 of the 28 people that I can meet in Stardew Valley. So we'll leave the house here. And any of this land down here, once we clear it, we're going to be able to plant plants there. So I'm going to, right now I've got an axe and a hoe and a pickaxe and a scythe. And so I can go through and just start clearing all of this brush here. As I get into, when I find a piece of wood, grab the axe, grab the pickaxe for the rock, and you see that each of those things, and this is where it's a little more Minecrafty, as you go through, like when I was chopping through and clearing the brush, I'm getting these fibers, and when I took the axe to that log, I'm getting wood to work with, and now I've got stone to work with too. And so there's a crafting menu. Again, much like Minecraft, where you go in and based on what you got, you can make different things. So at this point, I could make a cobblestone path, I could make a gravel path, I could make a wood path, and then there's other recipes here. So if I want to make a chest, I need 50 pieces of wood to make that chest. So I don't have enough for that yet. But so that's the very basics of this game, is to farm. But there's also a component where we can raise livestock, where we can go fishing and have different fishing quests, and there's develop relationships. We can get married, we can have kids, you can do as much or as little with this game as you want. You're going to need to do some upgrades to some of your weapons to get rid of some of this stuff. It's like this big log. My axe isn't strong enough to break that log. But it would be strong enough to cut this one down. So I can cut that tree down. And there I'm picking up sap and wood. So anyway, I'm just going to quickly go ahead and get this soil ready to plant some parsnips. Just select those. And then you'll want to water those. And you need to water your crops every day. If that was all I wanted to do for the day, I would just go ahead and go in, and I could go to bed for the day. And that would then replenish my energy. Anything that I had decided I was going to sell, that I had put in the chest outside for Mayor Lewis, he would have picked up, and I would have just had money. It goes through and gives you different experience points and stuff like that for stuff you did. But that's the very basic of how you start in Stardew Valley. I'm also going to show you here just really quickly what it looks like when you've played for more than 5 minutes. So you can go through several years, and the seasons are all 28 days. You got different crops you can grow in the different seasons. You got different fish you can catch in the different seasons. You got different mines you can go mine in, and all of that. So I've got a game here that I've played for 118 hours. But the thing about Stardew Valley, at least that I've found, is that it was really a relaxing game to play. It's something that you can spend a lot of time in without being really stressed out about. And so here I am in this game, and I've married the town artist. It appears she's mad at me this morning. I've got a couple kids running around here. I've added on to my house. You'll notice the house is just a little bit bigger than the one that you just saw. We can go here and we can cook something. If my wife, I don't know, I don't remember. Maybe she likes ice cream. So we'll bring her an ice cream cone and see if I can. Because who doesn't like ice cream for breakfast? No, she doesn't love that, but she loves me, so everything's good again. So anyway, I'm gonna step out here. You can see down here, I've picked a bunch of crops and I put them in wine barrels, and so now I've got wine, which I can sell. Come outside and here's the farm that I've got going. I think it's in year 3. I've got some rhubarb over there. I've got a bunch more wine coming in here. I've got cows and pigs, and you got to say good morning to your cows and your pigs every day. And you can milk your cows and let your pigs out, and they'll find truffles. So there's just little stuff that you do every day. I've got chickens and rabbits, and as expected, you can get eggs from the chickens, and the rabbits will sometimes inexplicably leave rabbit's feet for you, and also wool that you can then spin into cloth. You can put your eggs into a mayonnaise machine. You can put your wool onto a spinning wheel, and those are going to upgrade those things. So mayonnaise is worth more to sell than an egg, and cloth is more valuable to sell than wool. You also have a greenhouse where you can grow plants year-round. When you first start out, like I say, there's different seasons for different plants. Once you unlock all sorts of different achievements, you unlock the greenhouse, then you can plant anything you want, anytime you want. So, like I say, your farm starts out really basically with just you and a couple crops, and it really, you can expand it to as much land as you can find on your farm. You earn money, and you buy crops, you buy animals. You've got all sorts of missions, and it really is something that can be very engaging, and just a lot of fun. So, like I say, I've spent a whole lot of time on it. I think that if you are interested in an RPG, this has enough story and there's enough missions and stuff like that it will hold your interest. There is some fighting. You can go to there's a couple different areas of the mines where there are monsters, and you've got swords and stuff like that. But I wouldn't call it an action game by any means. But there is an element of fighting. Like I say, there's fishing, there's mining, there's crafting, there's really something for everybody in Stardew Valley. That should be the marketing for Stardew Valley. There's really something for everyone in Stardew Valley. But like I say, it's a cheap game. And by cheap I mean it's affordable to buy. $14.99 in the Steam store. It's also out for Xbox and for PlayStation. So you don't have to have one specific platform for this. I hear that they're also working on a multiplayer version of this, and my son and I are looking forward to a multiplayer version of this. But again, if you're looking for something that's just a little bit different, probably than anything that you've played before, but that can be really immersive, and can be just a lot of fun, Stardew Valley is worth a shot. I've had a lot of fun with it, and I think you will too. So I hoped you enjoyed that little bit of Stardew Valley. Like I say, it's an affordable title. So if you're looking for something under $20, as we are from time to time, you can get that on Steam. You can get that for PlayStation or for Xbox. I hope you enjoyed that look at Stardew Valley. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and if you did, I hope you'll tell your friends about us. Share this episode, like us. Follow us. We're everywhere you need us to be for a podcast. And until next time, when we have a lot more games, gadgets, and guests, I'm Brian Crommett. This is G3. Game on.